Now we're going to really rock this stage. I'm very excited. Our next comedian is a regular here. This guy has soul. He's got rhythm. He knows how to break it up. Give it up for the one and only average black man, Kenny Morin!
Y'all give yourself another round of applause. Y'all been giving it up for all the comedians all night long. Laughing at everything, if it's funny or not. Give it up. So my name is Kenny Warren, aka the Average Black Man, and I'm from Portland, Oregon. Yeah. And people always ask me the same thing. It's black people in Portland? And I'm like, hell no, I left. So, like I said, I grew up in Portland. It's a place that's 2% black. So, I don't care how hood you are. If your name is T-Bone, Peanut, whatever, you grew up with some white friends. I remember the first time I went over to one of my white friends' house. We was playing Atari, so that lets you know how old I am. And his mom came in and said, put the game away and finish your homework up. And I was like, what is he gonna say? He was like, oh fuck mom, you're a bitch. I was like, dang, white kids get to talk to their parents like that? So I went home and I told my mom about it. I was like, mom, you won't believe my friend? He said he called his mom a bitch. And my mom was like, boy, if you ever talk to me like that, I will beat the black off you. And I was like, well then I'll be white. And by law, I only get time out. So I grew up in a single parent home with my mom. And you know, she was a good mother. She kept me well fed, she kept me clean and all that. But she had questionable boyfriends. You know, from the ages of 8 to 11, she had a Barbados boyfriend, a dude that was always talking about Jamaica, always talking about Kingston. And they used to party all night long, you know? And every time it always ended up the same way. Somebody would get stabbed. And that was the idea of a good weekend, you know? And my dad, even though he didn't live with me, he was there for me. He coached my baseball and he coached my basketball teams. And he was a hippie. So, you know the coach is supposed to give kids a ride home after practicing the game. He'd fire up a doobie before he even dropped them off. I'm slinking down in the seat. Now, you know I went to Catholic school, so, you know, we played the dozens, talk about people's parents and stuff. But I never could win because every time I would get an edge, little white kids would be like, that's why your dad called timeout so he could smoke a joint. And it hurt, because I knew it was true. I was just glad that in Little League Baseball it was only 6 innings. That way, the 7th inning stretch wouldn't have looked like a Snoop Dogg video. So fast forward, I moved to New York in 2004 and started working at this barbershop up in Spanish Harlem. And I remember I was cutting a little kid, and he was just moving around and grabbing the clippers, had me sweating. And his mom came over and was like, you know what? You gotta be patient with him because he's autistic. Now I'm fresh from Oregon, so we still on retarded. So I was like, autistic? I don't want him to draw no pictures, I just want him to be still so I can draw his hair. Now in the barbershops, you get all types of people coming through all the time. Some people for haircuts, some people just to hang out, and some people selling stuff. And I remember I had this little Fly Harlem kid. He used to always come through, and he was trying to convince me that if I listen to the Jay-Z Reasonable Doubt album, front to back, I'll be able to hustle and never get caught, just like Jay-Z. So 2 years later, when he came back from his vacation to an island, Rikers Island, I had to ask him, man, was your CD scratched? And another thing, we got barbers that have like questionable, you know, educational backgrounds. Because I remember one of the guys came in the shop, he was on crutches, and his barber was like, damn, what happened, man? How'd you hurt yourself? And he was like, oh man, I had to have an operation, I had to get my meniscus removed. And the barber was like, you can't have no kids. Like, man, that's the knee, man. Fucking knee, man. Now, you know, at a barbershop, there's no human resources. So we talk about everybody. White people, black people, Asian people, midgets, people in wheelchairs. Yeah, I talk about people in wheelchairs, fuck them too. They mad disrespectful or run over your foot in a minute. Make you want to kick their ass into the middle of the street. You know? Matter of fact, it was a dude in the wheelchair at the shop the other day, and his barber was like an hour late, and he's looking at his watch and talking to me like, Kenny, man, where's he at? I called him an hour ago. I'm like, man, relax, man. It ain't like you gotta run no errands. So he talked to me for the next 10, 15 minutes, right? He talked to me for the next 10, 15 minutes. And he's telling me how tough he was. He was like, man, I got 67 misdemeanors and 33 felonies. I'm like, see, them people in wheelchairs ain't shit. And you know what? It was so cold, I was like, how the hell you get all your charges to add up to exactly 100? So, we talk about everybody, like I said. We talk about dead people, unless they there. This one dude came in the shop. He about 6'3", 285. He must have wore about a size 14. And he had some Chinese flip-flops on with a French manicure on his toes. Now, you know somebody would have said something, but nobody said a word. We got 11 barbers in there and nobody said shit because he was big as hell. Nah, hold on. The barber beside me was like, wait a minute. Is that a French manicure you got on your toes? And he was like, yes, it is. And it felt good when they gave it to me, and because my toes was like, That was so sweet. And 100% true. So when he left, we started talking about him again. We was talking about the fact that get into it with a gay dude, it's a no-win situation. You whoop his ass, you going to jail, that's gay bashing. He whoop your ass, he might kiss you. Worst case scenario, he knock you the fuck out. You wake up in a strange room, he's sitting on the edge of the bed winking at you. So we was having an argument the other day about whether or not you'd have sex with a midget. This is the barbershop. This is the barbershop. So the barber next to me is telling me like, yo, but think about it, man. Her little hands, it's gonna make your penis look big as hell. I was like, but their hands is like flippers. And he was like, but look at, man, all midgets be having fat asses. I was like, yeah, midget men and midget women. They short. So we ended up going to a hookah bar. We went to a hookah bar. And I brought Sam to the beach, so I was hating on my friend because he was flirting with the midget. And the midget, she was a hell of a belly dancer. I mean, she was sexy, I ain't gonna lie. Her head wasn't even that big. So I'm sitting there hating on him the whole night, but I'm thinking to myself like, damn, a midget like that, I could take her home to my mom. You know, I know my mom would be like, you turned out to be half the man I thought you would be. But that's okay, I sit her up in the baby chair, eat dinner with my mom, then we can jump on the train, and if the train is packed, she can sit on my lap and I can burp her on the way down to the door to get some drinks. And then once we get to the bar, I can sit her up on the bar, body shots all night long. And I won't lose my spot at the bar. All right, so that was the joke at first. But I had to go back to the scene of the crime for research and development, just for my comedy. So I went back to the hookah bar by myself this time. And the midget was in there again. She was a star attraction. I waited, I made my move. I went over and bought her a shot. She jumped her little ass up on the chair beside me. And when she touched my arm, it was like some Lord of the Rings shit happened. We locked eyes and I started making out with the midget. So I had a couple more shots. You know? Next thing you know, me and the midget, we out of here. I'll go open up the cab door, she go jump in like a little puppy. Got home, I had to smoke another blunt because I was like, this is some bucket list shit. Now the chick got crazy, me and the midget, I was jumping, throwing her around. It was crazy. It was crazy. Don't judge me. I just turned 40 years old last week. The only thing I felt bad about was that I tricked the midget in the morning to going out the front and I ran out the back. I thought it would have looked funny me walking down the street with a little kid. So I smoke a lot of weed, y'all. I smoke a lot of weed. Oh, this is a cannabis crowd. Oh, shit. So, it's funny though, every time I'm smoking, that damn commercial come on with that egg frying. This is your brain on drugs. And I always take another pull of the weed, and I'm thinking, where's the home fries and the turkey bacon? They know I'm smoking, I got the munchies. Now, I was on the internet, and I read about this African guy, and he had 6 wives. And I guess the wives got fed up with that shit. They was like, you know, this 2012, this is some bullshit. So they set him up. They had him come to one of the wives' house, and they raped him. Yeah, they had sex with him, one after one, and he died on wife number 4. What a martyr. That dude is my hero. I wouldn't have went out any other way. Now, for you ladies that's looking to get rid of your husband, take a note out of the books of the ladies in Africa. They got ambition. All right, I got the light. So I got a minute. Now, I'm going to tell you guys about something at the barbershop. This is just, you know, the last thing. We got a new barber at the shop. And usually, I don't really get to know these dudes because I don't talk to nobody for the first 30 days. You got to put your time in. So me and my boy came back from lunch, and we came in on a real foul conversation. It was something like this. You think you can braid better than me? What you mean? I braid under braid, fishbone, I braid myself. I kept my commissary full off braiding. So somebody from the side came in and said, this is the barbershop. We talk about sports. That's not a sport. The dude attacked him. You think you can braid better than me? I told you I braid fishbone. That's why my big toe crooked. I don't know what the hell that meant. But I'm going to leave it to jail sports. I'm Kenny Warren, the average black man.